welcome to the Shared Desk, episode 93. 100's in sight.
It's right on the horizon.
Taste it.
And it's gonna happen this year. It is gonna happen this
next year.
It's gonna happen this year, honey.
That's right, 2019.
We're time shifting, and
We're already in the future.
Yeah, we are. It's the Shared Desk, and I'm your host, T. Morris.
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
Chief, she's
Coffee and contemplation.
And in the case of this podcast, moonshine. And sitting across from me,
I'm Pip Ballantyne.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Sorry, half an hour ago I was a white-haired Scotsman.
but you're fine now.
Yeah, I'm fine. It was
It's
great
cleared up.
being a Scotsman.
And the best part of all is we have a special guest in our studio right now. Hey, studio guest, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tim Dodge.
The guy's one lab accident away from being a supervillain.
That he is.
He would be the nicest supervillain ever.
And here's the best part about episode 93 of the Shared Desk. This is the first time we've had a special guest on stream.
Yay!
First time we've had a special
Our
guest
first
on
stream guest.
stream. So we are right now live on Twitch. We are thrilled to have Tim in studio. Now, Tim, I realize this is your first. This is your first. We will be gentle.
Okay.
You will be gentle. But the one thing I would say is that if when in doubt, if you don't know where to look in that camera. Look right in the camera. That is the best way. There you go.
Like Deadpool.
Cheers, everybody. Yeah. Break that fourth wall.
Yeah.
Or more like Bandersnatch, if you will. Do you know I realize that never happened? That never.
No one ever looked.
In any of the stuff that we saw.
It might have happened in other timelines.
Yeah. So we'll have to take a look at that. All right. So first off, everybody, Sláinte, cheers. Welcome to 2019.
Welcome to the office. Tim has never been into the
Yeah,
office.
he's never been in the studio before.
It's
so
my first time in the inner sanctum.
First time in Imagine That Studios. First time. There's a lot of firsts here. First time you've been on the podcast.
Yep.
First time you've been on the stream. First time we've had a guest on the stream. So I've had to change up the layout just a little bit, just to make sure that
Everybody
people
gets
know.
screen time.
Everybody gets screen time. Everybody gets a little billing at the top. It's this is new. The Twitch thing is still working out well. But you know what? You can learn how to do all of this
With what, T?
with Twitch for Dummies.
When is that coming out?
It's coming out.
What a segue.
Yeah, I know. It was seamless,
it's like he's a
baby.
professional.
Seamless. From the author that brought you Podcasting for Dummies with Chuck Tomasi. Yes, Twitch for Dummies. It is
Now
going
in
to be-
purple.
now in purple. Not on bookshelves just yet. It's going to be on bookshelves very soon. Very, very soon.
You'll post the link in the show notes.
Yes, I will. Now, whether or not I will be in country when it premieres, who knows at this point?
We're just riding this roller coaster.
That we are. Tim, what brings you to this part of Virginia? Because you're not from these parts, if I remember correctly.
Nope. Just down here visiting my Smoky Writers friends.
There we go.
Ah.
Nicely
So which
done.
part of the world are you from? Tim?
I am from Central New York, Syracuse to be
Breaking news story: New York is not just New York City.
It's also a state.
There's a much bigger state out there.
specific. The nicest parts of New York are north of New York City.
That is true. No, he's got a point.
That is true.
The-
I have
the-
seen pictures. My cousin was a camp counselor
in the Adirondacks, right?
In the Adirondacks.
It's
So,
gorgeous country. the
Gorgeous
Adirondacks.
country.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous country.
Oh wait,
A
and
little colder than I'm used to, but
It does get a wee bit chilly.
a tidbit nibbly.
and real quick, yes, Nova, you are first. Do you get a prize? No. Okay, so so we're here actually to talk a little bit about 2019, about the upcoming Smoky Writers. What is that sort of thing? But first, let's have let's give the mic to Tim. Tim, what exactly do
here comes the cat.
Here comes the cat. Tim, what do you do? What is your what is your reason for being here on the Shared Desk?
Well, for the next several minutes, I do whatever the cats tell me
That's
to do.
right. Management.
Do whatever the cats tell you.
No, I write fiction in a variety of genres. I have
Right.
written a comedy about the afterlife. I've written a thriller. I've written a ghost story. Last year at Smoky Writers, I wrote a series of short stories. So I dabble in a lot of different areas.
We like that.
I also do a lot of nonfiction writing, and that's actually what's taking up most of my time these days.
Really?
I do that on a freelance basis, and I actually get
know a thing or two about
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Another segue.
Unlike with the fiction work, I actually do get, regular paychecks for writing the nonfiction work. And it's
Okay,
most
so let's back up
Okay.
a bit. So in a sense, you are you're a working writer.
yes, sir.
You are a full-time employed writer in nonfiction. Now, your nonfiction may not be the most exciting stuff, but it is.
Except for the audience, it's
But it is nonfiction. I mean, what kind of nonfiction are we talking about?
We're
here?
talking about technical articles in the financial services
Right,
industry.
and that's what I kind of wanted to focus on. So let's, but before we get into looking ahead, let's talk about that. The practicality of a writing job is it really a practical thing? I mean, can you make a living doing maybe not the stuff you want to do, but still writing and getting satisfaction in the writing process?
Well, to be clear, I'm not making my living off the nonfiction writing, but it does supplement my day job.
Right, right.
Income. And yes, I have one client that I've been writing for a number of years. We have a very well-established pattern. So, for example, I have an assignment that I need to work on right now. One thing I do for this particular website is write about actual court cases involving insurance agents who have been sued for malpractice. And so I have
That actually sounds kind of fascinating.
yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, I mean, usually I go through Google Scholar. I do some searches. I come up with a bunch of cases, and I send them to the client. Say, do you want me to write about these? And he'll either say yes or no. And the format for those articles is very straightforward. I start with an introduction, then I go into the facts of the case. I write about what the judge said, and then some lessons learned, and I do all that in about 700 words. And so
Hail to the king, baby.
Nice, nice. And I'll tell you something else too. This you know how you have Rhodes Scholars. I guess this makes you a Google Scholar.
I think it does.
I mean, seriously, it's first thing popped in my
I
head.
have a question about that. I'm like, is this something that you studied for at university, or did you just kind of fall into?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I mean, my day job involves a lot of this kind of work, answering questions of interpreting regulations and laws and court decisions. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a license to practice law, but I have a
He's
layperson's
not a lawyer, but
understanding.
he plays one on TV.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, go
You're
ahead.
experiencing the drop-ins now, Tim.
yeah.
Welcome to my world.
But my undergraduate.
I'm sorry, Tim. It just sort of happens. You were saying.
You slipped. Yeah, but my undergraduate.
Good luck, Guardian.
All right, I'll stop.
Quit it, or I'll throw something at you.
He's got a twitchy trigger finger over there.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
That's why it's called Twitch, baby. Okay, you were saying.
Yeah, another segue. Like it. No, my undergraduate degree is in political science. So.
Hey!
Yeah.
You can't bring that twitch into that, can you?
And actually, this job that I have now, my day job, uses that degree more than any other job I've had since I
wow.
left college. So,
Wow.
but a lot of my work does involve, interpreting. For example, I answer questions for insurance agents, and they'll call me up or send me an email saying some company has denied this claim. What do you think? And so I'll read the policy, and sometimes I'll check out court decisions to see how the courts have interpreted it. So the freelance stuff does tie into what I do with my day
Well, I mean,
job.
a lot of writers want to write the great American novel, but you also need to pay the bills and keep the roof over your head.
And frankly, the income I make from these freelance projects helps pay for me to go to things like Smoky Riders.
Well, the other thing too, and this is something I'd like to pick your brain out too, is that the nice thing about writing for your day job or part of your day job, because that is something I do over at code.gov. I do a lot of writing for them, and I've done. I think of all the articles that I've written, I think my favorite is the one where we had just landed the recent probe on NASA. The one.
Oh, you got your geek on that.
Oh
one.
my God, did I get my geek
So
on?
deep.
And it was so cool because both my bosses in DC, they were like, "We could tell you're really digging this." I mean, they
You
were,
can always tell, right?
they were all over. They were like, "Whoa, did you read that? Did you read that article?"
Seriously, Lana, call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone.
I mean, they act, and this is the best bit. This is the best bit. The last line in that article was "Code on and prosper," and they let me get away with it. That was I'm like I never want to stop working for these people. These are the coolest people in DC ever.
Well, they like your voice.
They like my nerd. They like it when I get my geek on.
Yep.
So, but here's the thing. As much as I enjoy writing for Code.gov and pushing those limits and writing about open source and open source projects and the innovation and the possibilities you get from visiting Code.gov, do you ever feel though that when you want to work on the stuff you want to work on, like the passionate stuff, whether it's something like a dummies book or whether it's something like steampunk or whatever, do you feel like the well is dry?
Yes.
Or do you feel like, or
That-
do you
a lot
feel-
of people have that.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I mean, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll work the day. A lot of times I'll do the freelance work on the weekends, or
Okay.
if I've got a deadline coming up, work on it when I get home from work. And by the time I've worked on this stuff all day long at the office and then come home and write, even though the articles are not terribly long, they're 500 to 700 words long, it still
words.
requires some
Yeah.
mental effort. And by the time I've done all this, like, yes, I'd like to edit the ghost story, but really what I want to do is
Watch some mindless
watch
television.
Hulu. Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not. And to be honest, the last couple of years, most of my fiction work has been done that 1 week in Tennessee
Ha!
because I'm doing
That 1 week in Tennessee. That sounds like the
which
start of a
which
bad.
we'll be talking about in just a second. Which we'll be talking about in just
well,
a
it's
second.
interesting to us because, of course, our daughter is doing pursuing writing as a career, and we were talking about it the other day with her, and she was sort of saying, "I'm thinking I might do part of one of my majors might be communication." Because both T and our friend Katie Brisky are doing work in communications. But at the same time, apparently from T's boss, he said a lot of people who are in communications don't like to write. So maybe that is an area that's, that writers should be exploiting to actually use their skills.
It did come as a shock to me when I was told by one of the founders of Code.gov, this guy named Alvin Salehi. He said to me, yeah, it would surprise you how many people in the communications industry do not like writing. And he said, you don't have that problem. And I'm thankful for it. I mean, and ironically though, it was video. It was my ability to edit video that got me the gig at Code.gov. But at the same time, the writing has really benefited the initiative. They love the fact. I mean, when I first got there, they were blogging maybe once a month. Mm-hmm. And when my project manager said, if you got us blogging once every other week, I would be ecstatic. I got enough content. I've produced enough content for Code.gov that we've been actually doing weekly blog posts. Work. So I mean, I guess it's my jam, but I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the fact that I got them up and running like that, and it's been a real delight. But one of the things I would say is that communications. If you're getting a gig in communications, like a full-time gig in communications, it's almost I mean, I've got the drop in for it. People go, oh well, you know what? I will do my communications job. I'll get the writing done. It'll keep me warmed up, and then when I get home, I'll work on that great American novel. It's a trap. I say it's a trap because that's why you love me in those drop-ins, baby. I say it's a trap. I say it's a trap because it's a lot like when people say, "Well, I'm going to pursue my acting career by being a teacher during the day, and then at night." I'm going to go on ahead and I'll do different stage work or something like that, or same thing with musicians, and they'll say I'll I'll do the band gig during the day, pay the bills, and then at night I'll do my own thing. But when you are working on this stuff during the day, you do take that risk of burnout. And I just wondered if that was something that you ever personally struggled with. It sounds like you do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a bit of
Stay on target. Stay on target.
Not
We
too
were
late.
on target. I don't know how that happened. Sorry, everybody.
No,
Misfire.
Well, I mean, one thing I would add to what you were just talking about, if you do have an area of expertise and you can write about it, and there are a lot of people who are experts on something and can't write. And
Yeah.
a lot of people who can write but aren't experts in a certain area. If you can combine those two, that is a tremendous advantage. But the downside of that is that you've worked on it for 8, 9, 10 hours during the day, and who wants to work on it when you get home?
Who wants to
Right,
write?
exactly.
So I guess you just have to manage that if it's like maybe put something in between, like play a video game or something just to unclog the mind and get out of the rating frame for a
Some
little bit.
people will go home and play their guitar for a half an hour when they get home from work.
Yeah, just to de-stress
just to,
and-
like,
Just to
clear
do
out the
something
cobwebs.
other than
Cleanse-
writing.
cleanse the palate.
Yeah, it's a palate cleanser. Exactly. So, dovetailing off that, you've written a lot of different things, but if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, how many things have been published?
I self-published one novel.
Nicely done.
Yep,
Nicely done.
That novel is called Purgatory, and it is a comedy about the afterlife.
Okay.
PurgatoryNovel.com.
Very nice. Well, we'll have the link in the show notes. Don't worry, everybody.
I also self-published another novel as a free podcast. I do intend to publish that in print and ebook form eventually. It's just
So it's available as a podcast.
Yes, it is.
But it is not in print or ebook or anything like that.
not yet. It
What
is-
was that
Yes,
project?
that book is called Acts of Desperation. That is a thriller about a guy who thinks he's doing something heroic in his own mind to help out his family, and ends up tied up in forces that are way beyond what he can reckon with.
And have you gotten any feedback from either one of these projects? I mean, have you seen any I don't know any particular numbers that you're proud of, or are you just saying they are there as passion projects and to show people, yes, I can get the job done.
I'm not the world's greatest marketer, and so Purgatory.
But you're on this podcast.
Yes.
so
Yes,
I am.
That's a step in the right direction.
So
Right.
those
Sláinte.
so those URLs would be
purgatorynovel.com. And you can find out information about Acts of Desperation at timdodgestories.com.
There you
Okay.
go. That's
Yeah.
the one we were looking for.
But while I did get some royalty checks for Purgatory, and I did enter it in the Writer's Digest self-published novel
Oh,
competition.
nice.
yeah.
Well done.
And I didn't win. I didn't even get an honorable mention, but I got a really positive email from the judges saying, and I mean, just the fact that I got a review of that from somebody who wasn't my mom, that meant something to me.
yes, absolutely.
No. That is a step in the right direction. It's definitely a step in the right direction. And now Tim is being a not so aggressive self promoter. He has failed to mention that he was published audio wise. He was published by the Ministry of Peculiar Occurrences. He submitted an idea. We liked it. We paid him for it. So it is a professional byline
Yes. Yep.
in the ministry universe. Tell us something a little bit about that project.
Yeah,
as well.
that story was. So I got the idea. Background. I grew up in a very small town in the southern tier of upstate New York, and so I got the idea of setting a ministry story in this town, and so I referenced in it, and I took characters who were in some of the books. I
Right.
did not come up with my own characters by and large. I took some historical characters from the history of the town. I had a book about the history of the town that I was able to borrow from. And I knew enough about the history of the town to know that in the late 1800s, certain buildings that I'm familiar with were in existence. I used the home that my parents lived at the time. My parents lived in the same house for almost 50 years.
Wow.
And so I had one scene take place on their property. They, of course, the year after I sold the story, then they downsized. But
No, it's a historic house now, Mom, Dad.
Yeah,
no,
you can't leave now, Mom.
Yeah,
You're stuck with it.
the podcast version. I think you're thinking in the outro. You actually said, "Yeah, Tim's parents still live in the house where this happened."
Yeah.
All right.
not
you
so
have to
much.
retcon that.
Yeah, right. So just if you listen to it, just disregard that line. But that was a lot of fun to work on because it was. I have not lived in that town since I was in my early 20s. But it was really fun to play in your sandbox, but also relate it to areas that
Yeah.
I grew up with.
And history, we like messing around with history.
That we do. Okay, so we've gotten to know Tim a little better, and of course, you guys know
Do we want
us.
to talk about how we know Tim?
That's the that
Random
was,
person in the house?
No, actually, I was going to segue into one of the things that we all
Yes.
engage in together, which is something we're going to segue into 2019. We're going to be talking about what we have planned since our previous show, episode 92
was a retrospective.
was a retrospective. This one is a prospective, right? Is that what you said it was? Prospective.
Good at words.
Perspective.
Now, when a company's planning to tell people what it wants to do in the year, it's called a prospectus.
Okay. Prospectus. Prospect him.
pros-
Prospect her.
prospectus.
Prospect all of us. I don't know. Whatever
Imagine
you want
that
to say.
studio's prospectus
We are
2019.
looking ahead to 2019, chat. That's what we're doing. And if you have questions for us, remember, chat is open. Chat is available. If you got any questions about writing or questions about our works, whether it's all three of us or just one of us in particular, go ahead and give us a shout out in chat. We'd love to talk to you. So 2019, first off, right coming straight out of the box in 2019 is going to be the upcoming Smokey. So Pip, why don't you lead in with us about what exactly is the Smokey?
Well, actually,
the-
you're skipping something.
What am
in
I?
January, you and I are going to be doing something for the
Oh,
Writer's
that's
Digest.
right. The aforementioned Writer's Digest.
Yeah.
This is a new thing.
We've done their online
Science
fiction
fiction
and
convention.
fantasy
Yeah.
convention.
It's been a lot of fun.
We've done it like twice or three times.
Yeah.
Two or three
Well,
times.
you also wrote their social media.
Yes,
guide,
that's why they.
which I have
part
on my
of-
iPad.
Yep.
Partly why they like us, but I think they also like us because we turn up and deliver.
we give 100%.
So this year they surprised us by saying, "Hey, do you want to?"
Well, wait, hang, no, slow your roll for a second. First off, what is the online science fiction convention?
I think
That's
this
the
is
first
their
thing you should tell me.
I think this is their
Second one in a row, yeah.
online convention. I mean, they do like physical conventions in New York, I think,
Yep.
and we've been to one of those.
Yep.
But this is the first time they've invited us to be on this one, so we're
But
not quite
what-
sure what we're going to be talking
Yeah,
about
but
yet.
what is it? I mean, that's the part.
Oh, well,
what
you pay for it, obviously, like
There
a
you
normal
go.
convention.
There you go.
But they have, I think it's a weekend event. Every
is.
hour or 2 hours, there is a somebody talking on a specific writing topic. You listen in from home, but you can also write in the chat. They always have a bit at the end where you answer questions, which is really interesting and fun. And
So this almost sounds like more of a writers' conference as opposed to a sci-fi convention.
it's not, it's more of, although we are, I don't know what we're going to be offering, it's more about the craft rather than the genre, but,
But that's what I was looking for. An explanation of the science fiction conference. Thank you.
Hey, it's okay, you're welcome. I'm just an ordinary demiguy. Hey!
So, now that
So
we're
we're
talking
doing
about
that.
the science fiction conference, what is this new conference that we've been asked to be in, where you're constantly surprised by it?
what? You wanted to talk about the smoky.
Oh my god, I am surrounded by idiots.
Let's try this again.
Pass her
so
the
basically,
moonshine.
we have been. Yeah. Hang on.
Are you talking about the Writer's Digest conference?
Yes, what I'm talking about with the writers conference is normally we've done the science fiction conference.
Yes, this is just their writing conference.
Right. This is their novel writing conference. Maybe. I
So we're going to be
need more of
talking
this.
about, characterization, plot, all that sort of broad, overarching stuff. I thought I'd covered that by saying it wasn't
Not really,
about
no.
genre.
No, you
Well,
were just-
you weren't listening.
What? Anyway. So really, what's going on here is that we do that now. She is right in one respect. We don't know at the time of this recording. We don't know what we're talking about. I know
What we will be talking about at the
what we
digest.
will be talking about, I should say. A lot of people say I don't know what I'm talking about, even though when I say, hey, look, I know what I'm talking about, they just kind of look at me and they just go. But anyway, as far as I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know what topic.
What
I will be
topics we'll be
discussing.
covering.
TBD.
We
Yeah.
might be doing it from New Zealand.
We might be. You might be.
Who knows?
I have no idea.
None of us might be in New Zealand. Some of us might be in New Zealand.
Some of the stuff that I have pitched, to them to talk about. One of the things, and I'm kind of hoping they ask me to do it, is I think I called it TikTok Goes the Bomb. No, TikTok Goes the Bomb Clock. TikTok Goes the Bomb Clock. Writing action sequences. Because as Pip has told me before, I have a knack at writing action sequences.
Yes. Often I would get to the writing side of the ministry and I go, and T, now we're in a fight. So
here.
have at.
Have
Next
at.
5 pages are yours.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Exactly. 5 pages. Try 10. I think it's the longest I've ever gone in a fight. It's like that whole Roddy McDowell fight in They Live. Anyway, so
We're doing that in January.
So we're doing that in January. Then is it late February, early March, or is
Late
it early
February, the
March?
last-
It's like February 24th to March 3rd.
Yeah, it's
something
like
Okay.
the last week of February.
This is when I turn it over to you guys because sadly I will not be.
No,
I will not be
but
present. this
I
go
will
around.
be sleeping on your side of the bed.
Yeah, if
On
you
both sides of the bed.
if you are regulars to the shared desk, you know about the Smoky Writers Conference. But if you're new to the stream, if you're new to if you're new to the podcast, I'm gonna ask Pip to take the lead. Talk about
It'll be year 6.
year 6.
Is it really the 6th
I
one?
think it's the 6th.
So I've been to 3
I thought-
of them. So.
I thought it was the 7th, but you're saying
no,
it's the 6th.
I think last year was the 5th.
Wow.
So
So what is it?
Again, Smoky Writers is something started by Alex White. It is a writer's getaway.
Retreat.
Yeah, it's a writer's retreat.
We retreat to the Tennessee mountains, the Smoky Mountains.
Yep.
And we take over a cabin and we write and eat and drink and generally
Rinse and repeat.
and
rinse and
him
repeat, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we do, a lot of words are produced there.
Yep.
Alex makes sure
A
that
lot of
everybody-
moonshine is consumed there.
A lot of moonshine
Oh,
is
yeah.
consumed there. A lot of words are produced there.
By the way, everybody, this is not an oil can dispenser, nor is that a sippy cup for adults, although it could be.
Could be.
This is right.
We brought back some fine produce from Tennessee.
This is and ironically they call it stories in every jar, which to some extent is true. But this is Sugarland Shines. This is their
It's called that.
this is their apple pie moonshine, and it does taste like apple pie.
I think it was year 3 we discovered moonshine.
Yeah, it was.
That was
'cause-
probably the first.
That was my
year-
first year.
Yeah.
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 Pip and I are I guess you could call us OWGs, original writing gangsters. We were there the very first Smoky when it
OSM,
was
original Smoky Mountains.
yeah, original Smoky, pre-fire, pre-forest
That's
fire
right.
Smoky.
Oh my gosh,
And it
yes.
was if I remember correctly, it was there was what, 8 of us total? 8 of
Yes,
us?
the first Smoky, there were 8 people.
Gangster.
It was crazy small, but boy was it cool. Speaking of which,
Who is it?
Hugh.
Hugh!
Hugh's in chat. Hugh's in chat. Hugh's in chat.
Smokies represent.
I was hoping you'd show up. because-
Also from beautiful upstate New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Hugh, did you know there are things in New York other than New York City?
Oh,
Shocker
that's
that.
crazy.
So anyway,
So the Smokies is. a
now
good
was
thing-
Hugh was part of the was one of the OGs
I
as
feel
well.
like Hugh's.
Yeah, he
part
was.
Of the OG.
Yes, because that was the time of Laserdisc. That was the time of Laserdisc. I can say that because that was actually part of the story.
Some things about Smokey should just stay in Smokey. It's like Vegas. But yes,
Vegas
yes.
for writers,
that
baby.
That was in the original little cabin.
Yeah. Man, that was.
I
and
think this is 6. I'm just counting all the cabins.
so.
Again, we're on the
and by the way,
4th one.
Yeah,
Yes.
and just so we know, that the spelling is LAZERDICK, and it's all one word. So
Thanks for
to Laserdisc.
Laserdisc.
But no, I mean, so yeah, we had and what an amazing time that was. What an amazing
Yes.
time that first Smoky
It's a great
was.
time to go to the Smoky Mountains because the cabins are cheap.
Yep.
So we can always get a good. I mean, there's a lot of cabins in the Smoky Mountains. A lot. And we take up like the biggest cabins that we can find.
Yeah,
the
we
biggest
do.
cabin.
Well, we went from like a small motley crew
About
of 8 to what, 21, 22?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
we
The number
exploded.
fluctuates because sometimes you have people who can't make it at the last minute or something like
Yeah.
that.
Point taken.
Yeah.
And it's
The temperatures are also comfortable that time of year.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
not super
Yeah.
cold,
Yeah.
but it's not yet. But the bears are stirring. Sometimes the bears stir.
So yeah, it's a dangerous neighborhood at night. Don't go out.
Yes, yes.
yeah. Don't do that.
Don't hide in the dumpsters and
But
jump out to
it's
surprise
not
bears.
sweltering hot. You're not fighting off mosquitoes or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Right.
and it's quieter as well.
Yes.
There's not
Yeah.
as many people around. Although
And how it works, and there's actually a structure to this. How it works is this. Everyone pretty much stirs at like 9 a.m., comes downstairs,
depending on how much moonshine has been consumed, the
depending
night
on how much
before.
moonshine is consumed, unless you are part of the Smoky Riders Walking Club,
Hear,
which means
hear.
you start cheers, which means you start at you wake up and you're out of the door by 7.
It was 7 or 7:30.
It was
somewhere
7.
in that area.
Yeah, somewhere in that area. And we basically walk around, get our steps in, and then we come back for breakfast. You write from 9 to 12,
Break for lunch.
then break for lunch. Roughly get started back up again 1 o'clock, 1:30, and you go until like 5, and then after
Alex gives us all
Alex divvies us up.
cards, and we divvy up into groups to read. Now,
Last year we actually signed up for groups.
that's
we didn't
right.
Have
We
Yeah.
do it differently.
Yeah.
yeah. So you sign up for groups, and the idea is that Alex wants to make sure that everybody actually writes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more an accountability exercise. Nobody is supposed to critique you. None of that happens. It's just, here's the thing I did today.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to talk to other people about, critiquing your stuff, then that's fine. But it's not required.
Right.
And you're actually on a timer, so everybody gets.
And
10
you're on a
minutes to
timer.
read.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And
And, when
then
your 10
from-
minutes are up, you stop and.
Yeah, somebody else
and then after dinner, it's pretty much open time.
Moonshine time.
There's moonshine time. There's drinking time. There's singing time.
Hot tub, because we also
There's
have
hot tub time.
tubbing. Yep.
There's movie time. I met. I
the
introduced.
cabins are gorgeous.
And this is the thing kind of bums me out. I was trying to figure out what new movie I was going to introduce to Amy. I can't remember the first one I
It was
introduced to
Mad
her.
Max.
I remember you mentioning Big Lebowski. There were
That's
3 of them
right.
you
I was going to
mentioned.
introduce her to the Big Lebowski because I was a latecomer to the Big Lebowski. But yeah, because I'd introduced her to Fury Road and she loved that. Then I introduced her to Snatch, which I think broke part of her brain, but she still liked it.
But we also played Hunt for the Wilder People.
Hunt for the
and-
Wilder
Played
People,
Wilder
which I
People,
love.
which became
Oh,
which
what
which
New
truly
Zealand
became.
movie am I going to get? I'm going to have to find a New
that's
Zealand
right.
movie.
That's right. She did 2 New Zealand movies.
have to
First, she
find
did
another
What We Do in the Shadows. Then she did
Gangsta.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
And now,
don't know what-
yeah, I introduced. I think what.
Ooh, I might be able to get. There's back in Wellington. There's a series that's based off What We Do in the Shadows. It's about the 2 police officers.
Yes. Oh, Wellington Paranormal.
Wellington Paranormal.
That's what you need to bring.
So if I
That
can
stream, or do you have it on DVD?
yeah, I think I'll have to get it on DVD. I think it's coming out
Worth it
in January.
Worth it. Well,
yeah.
guess what? Guess who's going? Guess who's going? You're going there.
Who knows? I might
Yeah.
be.
But anyway, so Wellington Paranormal would be a nice follow up to that. That'd be fun. I watched the first couple episodes of Wellington Paranormal, and they were just ridiculously funny, in that dry New Zealand way.
The funniest bit is those 2 cops are now doing PSAs for the New Zealand police force.
Yeah, they're doing PSAs. They're doing right now. We're going to talk about making sure that we don't drive when distracted. Hey, look, it's a UFO. Hey, you distract me. It's great stuff.
Stop it! You're very distracting.
Yeah, very distracting. But yeah, it's the there's a great line in Wellington Paranormal where the male cop says, well, yeah, he says to the female cop, yeah, you and me, we're like the X-Files.
We're like Mulder and Scully.
We're like Mulder and Scully. You know, I'm dashingly handsome. You're beautiful, and there's a unspoken sexual tension between us. And she was like, no, there isn't.
That would, if I could
Mike,
get,
hey, Mick's not dead.
that would be cool to take. I think.
No, but the great thing about the Smoky Retreat, and I consider myself fortunate to have been invited for the last few years, it concentrates your mind for a week. For 1 week, you are a fiction writer and nothing else. Really.
You're full time. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You are not whatever your day job is. You are there to pump out words, and whether you start writing those words at 8 o'clock in the morning, or you don't get a decent idea until right before lunch, you are still producing something.
Right.
And if you put your mind to it, even if you don't get that idea until 11:30 or 12 or something like that, you can still, at the end of the day, have produce something
Right.
to show
Right.
to people at the end of the day. And it may, as Merle Lafferty says, first drafts are supposed to suck, and plenty of mine do, but you start somewhere.
Yeah.
And for 1 week, that is your focus, and it's a great break from the routine, and just a good way to remind yourself of what's really.
Yeah,
what
I am a writer.
matter. Yes.
Yeah.
And you're not
Yeah.
just writing about court cases you found on Google Scholar.
Well, the other
There you
thing
are.
I really like is the it's just an atmosphere, because writing tends to be solitary unless you've got somebody like T
Hi
to
there.
write with.
Hi, everybody.
But it's also that sort of camaraderie
Yes.
of we're all in this, and you can ask people about the market, or we can kvetch about editors, or talk about marketing, or all of those sort of things over dinner or
And just being
moonshine.
surrounded by all these creative people that just sort of
They
by
get you.
osmosis
Yes,
kind
there's-
of
That
runs
they get you.
Yes.
They get you.
and there are several people, you two included, whose books you can find in Barnes and Noble, and
Yes, there are some.
Yeah, I mean-
Yeah, but the one thing that I feel I have yet to have anything from. No, wait, I take that back. At first, I was going to say I have not had anything from the retreat published, but I just remembered that I actually did. I finally wrote Little Red Flying Hood at Smoky,
yeah.
and I remember it was one of the weirdest Smokies I ever had, because I was literally doing things like it was one of the few times that I was actually doing research and writing at the same time. Normally I get my research out of the box.
Yeah, so you can hit
but
the-
like this one, I was like watching videos from the TV show Dogfights, and I was like, okay, so if I have got, so I have my the cover of my phone, and I have my phone, and I'm practicing. I'm like, how do I write that? Okay, how do,
and nobody gave him any funny looks.
no. I'm literally
Hey, it's
doing,
your process,
yeah. You do you. You do you, T. You do you. Has anybody seen T lately? It's looking a little weird. Anyway, so yeah, but
So we will be sorry not to have you there.
We will.
Yeah, this is the second time that I've had to miss
That's true.
Dismiss it. Oh, but before I forget though, Rev3 dude says Tim better not outshine me. He's in my chair.
Yeah, too late.
You know what? I'm telling you, Nick, you're gonna have to pump up your A game next time you come in here because that's got Tim Dodge Funk on it now. Anyway,
We're
like-
talking cooties. Now, as far as publishing stuff that you've. Last year at Smokey, I went there with the goal of writing a bunch of short stories.
Right.
And I accomplished that. And I have actually sold one, although it hasn't been published yet in public, so I can't really go into details about it. But I have had at least some tangible results from that.
Right.
And I've got a half a dozen others that I'm marketing. So.
quite a few published projects came out of Smokey. I
Well,
know that-
Katie's had a bunch of short stories.
Kate,
yeah.
didn't Katie have 6 stories told at night?
I think she
Did
might
she start it
have.
there?
I think
might
she
have.
did.
I know she wrote the unicorn story. And
Oh,
she
the
wrote,
unicorn
Which
story.
was published
God,
in Apex.
That
Yeah, yeah, so
traumatic unicorn story. Jeez.
ruined
H.
unicorns for us.
Yeah.
But no, there's been a lot of published things come out of there, but there's also I think it's just the camaraderie of people that you don't get to have. Maybe during the year we can have another little mini writing retreat somewhere to make
all
up
right.
for that.
So for my 50th birthday. I went to Germany, right? What I would really like to do for birthday 55, because now I'm thinking about it, because I got to give myself a
He's
goal.
getting excited.
I discovered that there is a place in the Bahamas called Goldeneye.
No, the Golden Eye.
It's as in it is the Goldeneye. As in this was where Ian Fleming would go to write the James Bond novels.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Ian Fleming's home, which he called Goldeneye, on a like a craggy hilltop, and then at the bottom there are all these bungalows that can be rented out. And I'm like, okay, that is going to be. I'm just going to say, Pip and I are going here, and we're going to go we're going to do our own little writing getaway in the Bahamas at Goldeneye. If anybody from Smokey wants to happen to plan a vacation around that,
That would be fine.
that would be fine.
But considering how much moonshine and alcohol is consumed at Smokey, are you sure you don't want to go to the Key West and hang
just
out
saying.
with go to Hemingway's house?
It's the Bahamas, which
Oh,
means they're going to have
Key
a lot.
West is not nothing to sneeze
No,
at.
but baby, it's Goldeneye. It's Goldeneye. It's freaking Ian freaking Fleming. Come on.
There may be rum available.
There may be
That
rum
is
available.
true. There is true.
But yeah, but no, it does. It does bum me out that I'm going to miss it, and I'm going to miss everybody terribly.
Because
it was.
it's part family reunion.
Yes,
Yeah, it really
yes.
is. It really
well,
is.
you will
It's good
see some
people.
of them at Balticon. There will be some Balticon.
There's that.
Smokies.
Which is something else that we're planning for 2019. I believe you're going there as well, right,
Yes.
Tim?
Yep.
Excellent.
yes,
Excellent.
yes.
So we've got that in 2019, and I believe before RavenCon, you and I are going to have 2 events before then. There's going to be RavenCon,
Yes.
and then there's Clockwork Alchemy,
Which they're flying us out to California.
California.
Where in California?
We are there.
It's one of the Sands, not Frisco, not Francisco, but San something. I think it's San Jose or San
it's
Diego. Do you remember?
It's a San.
It's one of the Sands.
Luckily, they're booking the tickets for
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
Because they're not exactly next door to each other, so make sure you
No,
get the
no,
location.
they're not.
No. We can't Uber between them, is what you're saying.
No, we can't.
But we're actually their guests of honor. That's why.
Guess
here,
of
here.
honor,
Honor. With a U. Like it's
on-
supposed to be spelled.
like Honor Blackman, who was in Goldenfinger, written by
Ian
written by
Fleming,
Ian Fleming.
and probably at
Probably
Goldeneye.
at Goldeneye. Just saying.
In the Bahamas.
In the Bahamas.
Bahamas. Anyway, so we have that, and then we're pretty stoked about this. We also have we're also going to be literary guests of honor at this little event called Gen Con.
Ooh.
We people have been.
Not guest of honor.
I thought we were literary guests of honor. Are
No,
we?
no,
are
no,
we
we're
just
guests.
We're just literary guests.
Yes, the guest of honor.
I can
don't
live with
know
that too.
Yeah.
I can live with that too. But no, I was so stoked when we got the invitation to be literary guests at Gen Con. Yes,
In Indianapolis,
in
right?
Indianapolis.
The big
yes.
gaming convention.
The gaming
Oh.
convention.
We've always kind of meant to go.
I didn't know they had a literary track.
Yeah,
They do.
yeah, they do. And I think a lot of that has to do, in fact, that one of their most regular, most consistent guests is the power couple that are Tracy and Laura Hickman. I've not seen Tracy and Laura in years, and I cannot wait to see them. Now, of course, with my luck, they're gonna say, "Yeah, we can't make it this year." Damn, and I hope that's not the case.
However, in Balticon, Scott Lynch and Elizabeth Bear are going
Yes.
to be guests of honor. So we'll be able to
another
catch up with them.
another power couple.
Speaking of power couples.
Yeah, Scott Lynch and Elizabeth Bear.
Although the
nice
last
people.
time we saw Elizabeth Bear, it was in Richmond at RavenCon, and she was flying solo that time.
Yeah. So this will be fun. This will be fun seeing them at
I haven't seen Scott.
He of the flaxen the flaxen hair.
Yes, he does have
He's
flaxen hair.
oh, man, that guy. I'd ship it anyway. So that's what we've got going up to the end of the summer. What about you, Tim? Apart from Balticon, do you have any other events you're looking
Writing
at?
plans?
Or
What are your
writing plans?
writing-
Right now I have been marketing the stories that I wrote at Last Smoky. I also have a novel that I finished years ago and actually got some edits on that I really want to incorporate all the suggestions from the editor. Katie actually edited
Oh,
it for
okay.
me. Yep. I got the famous Katie Brisky
Did you get the Nope?
editing experience.
Yeah.
Oh, did you get Grumpy Cat? We
Did you
got
get the
Grumpy
I
Grumpy
didn't
Cat.
get
Nope.
Grumpy Cat. I just got a whole lot of red ink.
Oh wow.
You got lucky.
we got a Grumpy Cat. No. Nope.
We got the Grumpy Cat, and the Grumpy Cat just looked at us and just went.
Nope.
That's
Yep.
basically what it was.
What she told me is you got a ghost story here that's really not that scary, and so you need to
Ah.
pump
There
it
it
up.
is.
And so I need
There it
to
is.
block out weeks to actually accomplish that. I just haven't done that. So I want to continue to market the short stories I wrote last year.
Yeah.
I want to do the edits on the ghost story, and then when I get to Tennessee in February, I want to be starting probably a new novel project, and I have no idea what
No
that
idea
project
why?
is going to be.
What?
No, what the project's
Why?
going to be. I don't have an
You're
idea.
just
I just know I
flying
want to
free.
have a new project.
Flying free.
Yep.
Oh,
Um,
that's-
well, I'm
but you know
hoping-
what? That's a delicious sensation because you don't know anything is possible. You could write anything.
Well,
That was
and-
actually what I did last year. That was dope.
yes.
Well,
Last
Okay.
year I just had this idea, and I started digging into it, and now I'm at the point where I'm editing. And so yeah, it is very liberating. It's a little intimidating, but it is extremely liberating.
Well, I do want to at least have a concept before I go out there, and probably the 4 weeks or so before I go out there, I'll start
sure.
listing ideas, maybe do
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
rough outlining or something
Yeah.
like that, just so I don't sit down on Monday morning saying, "Okay, what am I going to do?"
No. Having a concept is one thing, but I mean but it's different when you go to. It's still the same thing. It's like
Yes.
it's not going. I'm going to Smokey, and I'm going to work on this specific project. When I got to Smokey, I'm like, well, I have an idea for a project, but I have no idea. All I have is the concept. That's all I have. And I think the first half of the first day, I think I spent it watching a documentary about Lance Armstrong, and that got me into the mind frame. And then I started writing, and it just went from there. It just went. Real quick, I do have to say, Rev3 Dude mentioned about Gen Con. Courtney Taylor, whom you can hear on our podcast over at happyhourfromthetower.com.
Which is a Destiny podcast.
Yeah, it's a Destiny podcast. She was at Gen Con last year, and that's the furthest east she has ever traveled for a con, so keep your head up. That's what he tells me to do.
Ooh.
So, hey, maybe if a Nolan North or a Dreamy Matt Mercer shows up, who knows? We'll see what happens.
When's Gen Con? What month?
I believe it's August.
I think
Okay,
that's
that's-
usually late in the summer.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
late in the
Okay,
summer.
that's good. That's
We
good.
know
That's
that
my birthday month.
We know that the man with the gravitas, Dave Robinson, he is usually there.
Oh.
He is usually there, so we'll have to definitely keep our eyes open.
Another former Smokey.
Yep. Now once we get past August, we're getting into that fall winter months of 2019. Have we planned that far ahead?
I don't know if we've planned that far ahead.
I have something tentative.
Oh,
that
we'll
I'm-
probably go back to the Renaissance Fair. We
Oh,
always
yeah.
do one day there, and it's really good usually.
Yeah. The only thing that would throw a kink in the works for me with that is near the end of October. There's usually an event called TwitchCon,
Oh, okay.
and I'm thinking I need to take this book.
That's out in California
That's
as well.
out in California. But I need to take this book to TwitchCon, and I need to introduce myself to the Twitch community outside of Destiny, outside of Fortnite, outside of Overwatch, the games that I watch, and the circles that I travel in, and go, hey guys, I'm the guy that wrote Twitch for Dummies, and here's why.
Hola.
Well, yeah, and before you say it, yes, maybe your favorite Twitch streamer isn't mentioned in this book. Let me explain why. When
That
I
was
was
the same
writing
problem
this
with
book,
the podcasting one
yeah,
as well.
when I was writing this book,
You missed such and such. You didn't
you
include
missed such a
things
thing.
in your-
I got news for you. If I wanted to mention everybody's favorite, one book would probably be 4 times this size, and it would just be of shout outs. So
it would just be a directory.
yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be a directory.
They have this thing called the internet.
the interwebs.
And there's this really cool site that I read about. It's called Google.com.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can,
Hey now,
you can find out things about people.
Google. What a goofy name for a place. Google. Anyway,
And what month is that in?
it may be in October. It may be in November. I got to look. I got to look.
Okay.
But according to Rev 3 Dude, Gen Con is August 1st through the 4th.
There you go.
But I do know that we have committed to the Ren Fair to come back.
And that's
Now-
usually at the end
Yeah.
of October.
And it's a little peek into the business side of books. It's going to be a different kind of year because he wants to do business with us. The problem is he cannot buy the books outright.
No, well, that's what consignment is for.
Yeah, that's
of
what
course.
consignment
So,
is for.
Can
But
I
he
talk?
is so good to us over page after
He
page.
is. Can I
Good
talk
guys.
about some of the writing projects we're going to be doing this
let's do
year?
that. Let's do that.
Don't look at the whiteboard there, Tim. It's got the names of the things, but the dates are not
I
correct.
can't look back there. I'm afraid of the cat that's staring at me.
Ah, yes. There's always a cat staring at you. So,
Benedict is
the
asleep.
two
up there.
projects that T and I are working on together. One will be in Q2 of 2019, and one will be in Q4 of 2019. I love spreadsheets. The first one is going to be obviously The Secret of the Monkey God, which is Verity Fitzroy's.
Yep.
We're writing that together. The other one that'll be later in the year is Death and the Falcon, which is going to be Henrietta Falcon and Sophia Del Morte. Guess which one's the Falcon and which one's Death? Working together. And we have a couple of ideas about settings and the vague plot. If you've read Operation Endgame, you may be wondering, what does Sophia get up to next?
Yeah, and then there's also Dope,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm hoping to have not only edited, but I need to find a good thriller editor because it feels like it's becoming less of a romantic suspense and more of a thriller. And then I've got to find an agent, and that's going to be that is actually my. When people talk about goals for the year, goals for 2019.
Land an agent, get a deal.
Land an
There you
agent
go.
and get a deal. Those are my
Yeah,
two.
simple.
Land an agent, get a deal.
Yeah.
Because some people have asked me, well, are you going to self-pub it if you don't? And I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I wanna make this a book that I land with a major publisher. It's something fresh. It's something different, but it's gonna be. It's got that thriller vibe about it. I was originally going to try to crack into the romance industry, and I know I talked about it on previous shows. But
Tian had a conversation over sushi about this, so maybe Tim,
Yeah.
you'd like to throw your 2 cents in. But my thing was with we love the romance genre. We know many
and we
writers
love
who
people in the
work with
romance genre. Absolutely.
But the thing about romance is you have got to produce the books a lot.
Yes.
The romance readers demand a lot of books every year. We've had friends of ours who have been told, "You're only producing 4 books a year. How can you expect to retain me as a reader when you're only producing
Yeah.
4 books a year?"
Well,
And you
because
see-
romance readers devour those
Yes.
titles.
Yeah, but you
Yes.
see, here's where I would be that author, and I would be. Let me ask you something. Have you ever written a book? Not read a book, but written a book.
Yes.
And I said,
And there you've lost your
I-
reader.
and I've lost my reader because he's very disagreeable and he's really mean. No, I'm just calling you out on your BS because that's the thing. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. You're a voracious reader, and that's the other thing too. That the other thing about romance readers, they're the ones that when you spend, let's just be modest. Let's say you spend 8 months putting together a book. They go, yeah, I read your book in 7 days. Let me tell you exactly what's wrong with it. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
but they also go, "Where's the next one?"
and where's the next
But
one?
for example, our friend Katie Roberts, 10 books this year, 2018, 10 books.
Yeah,
10 books.
10 books. I don't know how she's doing it.
So that was
I do not know how she's doing it.
I was
She's
talk-
learned how to sleep faster.
I was talking to T and I was saying, look, you want to look more past one book. This is like a genre change, a complete career move, right?
Yeah.
So are you honestly going to be able to sustain the pace, keeping a day job,
Yeah.
of writing that many books
And
every
sustaining
year?
the quality.
Yes.
And I think Rev 3 Dude nails it with this. Romance novels are like Hallmark movies. Crank them out.
You've got to get them out, and
Yeah.
and you also have to write. You also have to give them what they expect. If you don't get a happily
Yeah.
ever after at the
Yeah.
good, you're done.
You're done.
There are no sad endings.
So
Nope.
to me, and knowing how T works really well with dialogue and action, I'm like, it seems to me like the thriller, the mystery, that sort of angle works more towards his strengths.
And I'd be the first
Right,
one.
Tim? I'm right, Tim, aren't I? Right. Just say I'm.
I would say that you were. And I'm thinking when you were talking about the mystery and the thriller and all that, I'm thinking of the dearly departed Bill Batting series, where you had elements of both those areas,
Yes.
the mystery and the thrills.
Yes. But you know what I
Ref
mean.
3 Jude just said she's right, Tim. she's right, Tim.
Just say she's right, Tim. Just back away slowly and say you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Tell your cat not to hurt me.
Well,
So-
and now hold on. Dope is your
Right.
project.
Yeah, it is.
We have 2 projects together, but I have another 2 projects that I plan to get out in 2019.
La-di-da.
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 First is going to be Eidolon, which is the 5th book of the Order.
Yep, you heard that right.
5th book of the Order, because I got the series back in 2018, and I've been working on the audiobooks, and I've almost finished the 3rd one. So I'm like, you know what I like writing? I want to write like 8 to 10 years into the future of what's been going on. And I started thinking about the consequences of the end of Harbinger, and I was like, ooh, yeah, I didn't really consider what would happen when they did that. That throws some nuggets and some strange thoughts into my head. So that's coming out in February. And then we do Secret of the Monkey God. And then I'm producing the sequel to Immortal Progeny, which is going to be called Immortal Sisters. And I have some ideas on that. Immortal Progeny is going to have 3 books. I think Verity's going to have 4. And who knows, Death and the Falcon might be standalone or it might be a series. See how it goes.
What about you, Tim? Do you have any titles or any projects that you're thinking about for 2019?
Well, as I said, I want to go to Tennessee with a book project in mind. But as far as what the title is or subject
What
matter,
about genre? Have you thought about like
genre? It will probably be either thriller or fantasy.
Okay.
You mind if I ask who's editing your thrillers?
The Acts of Desperation thriller was edited by myself.
I'm just gonna say it.
It's a trap.
But that's okay if you say so.
Well, it was second novel. The first one.
Fair enough. No,
The
fair
first
enough.
one will never see the light of day.
Got it.
But the second one I did podcast, but I did all the editing myself.
Got it.
Now the ghost stories I mentioned, Katie has been an immense help with that and found more flaws than I did. I had no
a
idea.
good editor will make you cry.
Yeah. This is what an editor's
cry.
jo-
I just sank into a suicidal depression for a moment.
You
This-
just
this is honestly-
stare at the sea of red ink and go, I saw.
I had no idea I was changing points of view that often.
Yeah. Editors, man, editors.
Yo, Granny. Let's go.
I mean, they just take a chainsaw to your
They
work.
take a chainsaw to
They
it.
do. They do.
I think Katie would probably say it's more like a precision surgeon's tool rather, but
So I tell
that's
you
what
what.
it feels like to writers.
So I tell you what, chat, and I tell you what. I'll tell you what, Tim, Pip. We have been going.
Oh, really?
We have been going for nearly an hour. Really? I mean, when time flies, it goes. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to stick around, and we are going to do some extra content for folks who are tuning in
Riders
live.
off the clock, maybe?
We're doing some Riders Off the Clock. Maybe even do a Loot Crate Looky Loo. We're just going to keep this entire episode of the Shared Desk all about writing, the business of writing, and 2019.
But if
Smokey,
they
all
want to
that
get
stuff.
the fuller experience, where do they go, T?
Well, they can always watch our social media, and they can they can go on ahead and they can watch T Monster on Twitter, Philippa Jane on Twitter. What was your thing again?
T-Dog 4494 because
that's-
all the good names were taken.
Fair enough.
But if they really want to keep up to date, they'll go to twitch.tv/TheTmonster and follow, and then
They'll
they
follow.
get alerts
And
when
if
we
they
go on.
and you know what? And if you sub, you get some.
Oh, if you sub, you get some cute little emojis.
Yeah, you get emotes.
Emotes.
Baby.
I don't know.
emotes.
I feel like I need a book to read.
You need a book like Twitch for Dummies,
If
baby.
only I had a book to
Available
read about
available for pre-order right now.
it. See, Tim, this is how you do it.
This is how you market. Yes.
This is how you do
I get
it.
some good tips here.
And as always, you can always go to theshareddesk.com and or go to iTunes or Stitcher and subscribe to the Shared Desk, and you'll always get the podcast. You'll always get the podcast, but it's a Twitch that you'll get the
extra
fuller
bonus content. And you get to see us.
and you get to see us in real time. So on behalf of Tim and on behalf of Pip, hey, thank you everybody for watching. Remember, folks, the Shared Desk is protected by a non-commercial, no derivative, share-alike United States license. You can find out more about that license at creativecommons.org. So until next time, enjoy the ride.
Catch you later.
Happy 2019, everybody.
Woo!
And we're back.
I felt like I was holding my breath
I know
there.
the problem. See, chat. The weird thing is about the FireWire board, which this is like a 10-year-old board. It's a fantastic board. I love this board, but the biggest problem with it is that even if I pod everything down, it for whatever reason it will still continue to record sound.
Oh my goodness.
And I was looking. The funny thing is,
It just doesn't want to give up, man.
Funny thing was, I was looking at the time, and I'm like, "Holy crap! We've been at this for nearly an hour."
We have
that
lots of
did
fun.
not-
I love it. But Tim, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, you two.
We got you on the shared desk, baby.
Hey, guys,
And
just
there
talk
you go.
amongst yourself. I'm gonna
Go for it, baby.
Go
Go
for
for
a little biology break.
Benedict's first little stir up there. Would you mind passing him a treat because he loves those treats?
Give me a treat.
Yeah, give him a treat.
While you
So,
boys talk amongst yourselves.
So Tim, first experience on Twitch. What do you think?
It was fun.
Yeah,
I don't know how it looks to the audience. But
Well, if you want, you can, if you want, you can come around. You can just take your headphones off and come around here, and I can show you real quick what the layout is like. You can actually see it in a few seconds delay here, but that's what the setup is. Normally it's T and Pip, but because we had the special guest, it's T, Pip, Tim, and then we, when Katie comes in, we'll have a window for Katie. We've been talking about doing, and now you want to have a seat over there. And we've been talking about having a big like blowout show with Rev 3 dude. Now Rev 3 and I, we do happy hour from the tower,
right, you do the Destiny.
the Destiny podcast. And at that point, it's Brandon over there, Nick's in that seat, and I'm here. And then if we have we've done a fourth guest, it's sometimes it's Coach Obi Orion. So we have 4 windows, but the fourth window is a Skype or Discord window. And that's been kind of a challenge in itself too. In fact, what I'm planning to do with this, because even before the book comes out, I'm going to start doing Sunday shows, Sunday afternoon shows where I just get on, I'll put some music in the background, and then we'll just riff and we'll just chat and that sort of thing. So right now, so for anyone joining us, this is the extra content for the shared desk. I guess you could call this the shared desk unplugged, because this is the stuff that you don't get in the podcast. Right. This is stuff where if you sit with us, if you're going to sit with us and you're gonna hang out with us and talk with us live, this is that. You know what I could do? I could do this. Just to give a little background. Computer. Is it working? Yes, it is working. Okay.
The adjective working is usually defined as that works.
Computer, stop.
You heard that?
Yeah, I heard that. Computer, play Spotify playlist Electric Dreams.
Electric Dreams from Spotify.
Perfect. And then we'll just
What?
Computer, volume level 4. My new toy. I love my Alexa.
Yeah, they're like cockroaches. You get one Alexa and you get like
Man.
5
Yeah,
immediately after.
Well, no, we got 3 more. So
got
now
3 more.
We got 3 more.
Oh my gosh, they just keep coming.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. Computer, volume level 3.
There you
It's
go.
actually a pretty decent speaker too. That's the
Yeah.
thing I've noticed. It's a decent speaker. Okay, so I think one thing that we should, and because it is the shared desk, I'm going to still do some of the segues here. Let's talk real quick about this. Oh, whoops! Hang on. Got to turn up the volume on it now. Here we go.
Writers off the clock. So what do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Bring your fuzzy butt over here.
Idea.
So the thing we didn't get to introduce you to, I wanted to do this with you before we got on the podcast, but I didn't get a chance to. We might do it afterwards, but so Pip and I think what we really need to talk about is Bandersnatch.
Yes.
This is the newest episode of Black Mirror.
Have you watched Black Mirror?
Yeah, have you seen Black Mirror?
I've only seen 1 or 2 episodes, but they were pretty disturbed.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is a pretty disturbing
if you want to sit
series.
back, make sure your microphone's a little closer.
Okay.
I mean, Black Mirror is like the
It's
Twilight
the Twilight Zone of this
for
generation.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone for a digital generation. So I got to ask, which episodes did you see?
Oh gosh, you saw the first one, didn't you?
I did.
Oh,
That was the bad. Why
man.
they led with that one as
Oink,
their
oink.
first? I'm like,
I can tell you why.
make that the last.
No,
Well,
no, I
I
can
suppose
tell
that
you why.
if you stick around for the first one, then you're
if
in.
you make it through, if you make it through the first episode, which is called State of the Nation, I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Or something like that. If you can make it through that episode,
The rest are fine.
that is the litmus
rest-
test.
yeah.
That is the litmus test. Also, it's great because it's Rory Kinnear.
Yes.
That guy is freaking talented, like a badass. I mean, I love Rory Kinnear.
He was the prime minister.
He was the prime minister. He was the prime minister in that episode. He was Frankenstein's creation in Penny Dreadful. He's the new M in James Bond.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
I
he's the
did
new.
not
No,
know.
I'm sorry.
No, that's Ralph Fiennes.
That's Ray Fiennes. But he was in Skyfall.
Yes.
He was in Skyfall. I loved him in
was.
Skyfall.
Yes.
But yeah, Roy. And, oh my God! And Richard II, he was absolutely incredible as Bolingbroke.
But
Absolutely
Black Mirror
incredible.
can be quite tough. I mean, not just that
Yeah.
episode, which is just like, oh my God, am I watching this? But also kind of, there are some mostly depressing episodes, except there is one, San Junipero,
Yeah.
I think they say
Yeah.
it, which is actually uplifting. And
quite
you're like-
uplifting.
And
Out
you're
of
like,
character for
when you
them,
get to
isn't
that,
it?
you go, what is happening into Black Mirror?
Okay,
but
so
don't worry, they go back into...
I will say, and I watched that one episode, and I enjoyed it. It was certainly memorable.
Yeah. Oh
television.
yeah.
Oh, you don't forget
But-
that episode.
But I got the impression, correctly, I think, that you have to be in a certain mood
Oh, yeah, don't be...
before
don't be-
watching that.
So what was the second? Now you got me curious. What was the second
Oh,
episode?
the second, and I didn't. You know what? I tried to watch the second one on a flight and couldn't hear it well.
Ah.
But it was the second episode with the people at the video terminals all day long on what looked
Oh,
like
yes,
exercise
they're
bikes.
playing like a
Oh,
ga-
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, that one takes a pretty sinister turn.
There's,
at one
there's a
point.
couple of different gaming sort
yeah.
of ones.
I didn't have noise canceling headphones and I couldn't really hear it well over the engines. I said I need to watch this when I can really.
Yeah.
concentrate.
There are some of the Black Mirrors are absolutely brilliant. There were one or two that I'm like, okay, I kind of saw that
Well,
coming.
that's like
Eh.
any anthology of
but
anything.
but I mean, like there was one in particular about these little cybernetic bees.
Oh, yeah.
and a connection to social media that made me
There's
go.
a lot of commentary on
"Holy
social media
yeah,
and gaming
yeah."
in there because it's technology.
I do not care for Bryce Dallas Howard
Yeah.
as an actress.
Nosedive.
but
Nosedive was
Nosedive was a tour de force.
But the funny thing, Nosedive is basically about a society in which you have social media currency.
Yeah.
So people, you get a coffee from somebody and you give them a rating of 1 to 5 stars. And and that builds up a profile. Now, if you're under 4.2, then you can't go first class.
yeah,
on a,
there are certain little things that you can't get.
that you can't do.
It's really clever.
And,
really clever. That's Nosedive.
That's Nosedive.
And then the one that was the one with the cybernetic bees and Twitter is called Most Hated in the Nation.
Yes.
And that one is genius. There's another one too called White Bear.
Oh, yes.
And at
Which is
first,
also social media related.
it is somewhat social media related. It is also, you feel terrible for what you're shouting at the screen. You're
Raging against these.
You're raging against these callous individuals, and then there is a twist at the end that makes you go, "Oh damn! I did not. Oh my god! I'm on the wrong side of this argument."
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, black. So that being said, and yeah, white. That's one of Rev Dude's favorites. Hated in the Nation is the one about the bees. 15 Million Merits is the one. Is the second one that you saw with the guy with the game show. I'm screaming at the laptop, you glorious bastard. That's Nick. We love you, Nick. Thank you. So Bandersnatch. Okay. First thing about Bandersnatch.
Set in 1980.
It's set in 1984. Well, no, even before that. Even
Yeah.
before the actual episode yourself. If you try to watch it on a standard television or like an Apple TV or something, it will tell you flat out you can't.
Yeah.
It has to be on a mobile device. It has to be either it has to be
laptop.
on a laptop, or it has to be on your console. So we went onto our PS4. We downloaded the Netflix app just to do Bandersnatch,
Okay.
and it was pure genius.
Because it's a choose your own adventure.
It is literally a choose your own
Seriously?
adventure.
Yeah.
Yes, and it works brilliantly. It is clever as F. We're not going to give away any spoilers on this.
Except it is the interesting thing is it's a choose your own adventure within a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
The main character is writing a choose your own adventure computer game in 1984.
In 1984.
That is called Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch.
So that's
based on,
based
how,
on a book. It's
you know how in the
like
80s, remember how in the 80s you had there were certain writers that wrote these massive bricks of books. Stephen King's The Stand was one.
Neil
Watership.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
What?
Neil Stevenson.
That's the one I was thinking.
Yes.
What was the one he wrote? That was-
Quicksilver.
Yes. Yes. Quicksilver. I remember seeing that everywhere, and it was just a bug killer.
Paper was obviously cheaper back
Yeah,
then.
it was cheaper in the 80s. So you had that. You had that that's the kind of book Bandersnatch is. And what happens is that, and if you're watching it with a console, it's even more fun because you're holding onto your controller.
And then it starts going,
And it starts
you know,
vibrating.
which is the signal that you are about to make a choice. And you
Yeah.
only have 10 seconds.
Yeah, you have a timer. You have a timer.
And the line is going, and you're like,
And in some cases, both choices are bad.
yes.
but I mean, but if you do make poor choices, and you haven't gotten to the end of the episode yet,
They'll loop you back around.
they'll loop you back, and it's really
That's amazing.
it was really cleverly done,
Apparently, there are 1,000 different endings.
and
1,000
they filmed
different
them all.
choices. Yeah, so
And they
I
filmed
don't know
them
how,
all.
I don't know how many weeks it took them to film it.
I will tell you this much though, and the thing that I think is the most genius about Bandersnatch is that at one point it doesn't take itself seriously at all. And and I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna give anything away, but you get this one choice that you're like, wait a minute, is that one of my choices? And when you make the
We'll have
choice,
to show it to you because
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
really interesting. I mean, I love watching. It's a class in
Okay.
plotting.
All right.
Because you're like, every choice you make as a writer influences what's going to happen further down the plot.
All right,
And our friend Katie Brisky wrote
Yeah.
a Choose Your Own Adventure, I think based around, it was like an alien hunting on Earth sort of thing. And I was like, oh, she must have had some, and it looked fun, but also kind of like frustrating and terrible at the same time, writing one of those things.
So Nick comes up with a really good comparison, or he wants a good comparison from us. Bandersnatch, a comparison between Bandersnatch and Detroit Become Human.
Yes, which is,
All right,
so Detroit Becoming Human is a PS4 exclusive game.
brilliant game.
Set in Detroit, and it is
Far future.
It is focused around three main characters who happen to be not human. They are, what do they call them?
Well, they're
they're just androids.
They're just androids.
They're androids.
But
And of course, there is certain fighting elements, but it's
Yeah.
mostly choosing a selection of options. And
So-
yeah.
yeah. So here's what I would say. In Detroit Become Human, it actually feels like an open world
Yes.
with incredible amount of possibilities. I never at any time felt like if I made a choice, even if I made the same like three choices, I would be routed to the same possible ending, right?
No.
As a matter of fact, to even prove that, Detroit Become Human actually has as part of the game a flow chart. And it shows you all the stuff that you not only locked, or no, not that you unlocked, but stuff that if you had made a different choice, it would have unlocked these other possibilities. So Detroit Become Human felt a lot more open. Bandersnatch, I felt like there were some choices that I'm like, okay, that's kind of a gimmick choice. Probably doesn't matter what, for example, doesn't matter what cereal I choose. Okay, that's just
Or it might.
or
I
it
don't
might.
know.
Or it might.
We'll have to go back and choose a different cereal.
Right. But there's stuff like that. And then there was like, for example, there was one particular avenue that Pip and I went down with Bandersnatch that the choice was either, the two choices basically led to the same thing.
Yes.
Just at one thing it just had an abrupt ending. The other one it was a more tongue in cheek.
So it's more of a closed loop.
I think it was a bit more. Yeah, it was a bit more like.
Well, can you imagine trying to film Detroit
Oh my
Becoming
God.
Human?
Well, that's the thing.
You'd be at it for like years.
As it is with the closed loop, 1,000 different endings. You just said. I mean, if they didn't have,
Yeah. Yes.
Personally, I think that's you know what, 1,000 endings.
Maybe there might have been 1,000 choices.
I
don't know.
I'm because literally 1,000. Think
Yeah.
about that for a second. 1,000 endings. To put it in
No.
perspective. To put this in perspective.
It might have been me thinking it was
Yeah.
like 1,000 choices.
Yeah, I think that might
That
be
would
closer
make
to
more
it.
sense.
That would make more sense
But they
because
definitely, I remember them saying that they used some sort of computer program to plan it all out.
which is fine. But that's what I'm saying. They spent let's just say conservatively, they spent 6 months filming different episodes and writing different possibilities, et cetera, right? For Detroit Become Human, that was 5 million lines of code, and that game took, I believe, 5 years to make, like 3 to 5 years to make. So to say that Bandersnatch happened with 1,000, I don't think it's 1,000 endings. It's got to be 1,000 choices because
Yeah.
1,000 endings means, I mean, you're talking about the amount of film work on that alone would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, they must have been at this for a while.
But you can tell there are certain choices in Bandersnatch that you're being purposely led down
yeah,
this
you're being
primrose path.
guided towards it.
Yeah.
But it was still very, very well done. And actually the story sometimes
Where did whoa where did you get that? Where did you get that, Nick? Did you read that somewhere?
what did Nick say?
He says Bandersnatch took 2 years to film.
Really?
One episode of Black Mirror took 2 years.
That would be terrible time management on their part, for one thing. Wow.
They might have taken 2 years to do.
I know their
maybe.
seasons are short. They're what, 3 or 4 episodes? But
yeah.
still.
They're not,
But,
they're no more than 6. I don't-
But I would say, but going back to the original question, Nick, I would say that Bandersnatch is is a lot more. You have a certain amount of control, but there are certain, even if you make differing choices, you get the same footage.
Yes.
That happened to us a couple times last night.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would say it's a little more of a closed world versus Detroit Become Human, where it's just massive.
But one thing I really did like, because a lot of in Choose Your Own Adventures, the ones that I remember reading, like in the 80s,
Yeah, I remember that.
the story was somehow less than the fun of actually choosing your own. Like the story might not have been all that crash hot.
Yeah.
They kept it kind of, shallow, shall we say?
Yes. Yes.
Whereas
they did.
in this one, it actually had quite a deep,
quite a
deep
large amount of
questioning,
depth.
Like, you really need to think about this.
Yeah, it
you
was
know?
pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So as a story, it also worked. Not just the coolness of
Yeah,
the
this particular episode was not just about the novelty.
Mm.
It was there was good acting. There was actually brilliant acting. Some of the things that they were making you think about also just really it was fun. I would rank it up there as one of my favorites. I don't know if I would want this to be a regular thing. Like, I would not want an entire season of these.
no.
But one, maybe an occasional one, that would be cool. And actually, Nick, I haven't finished the last season of Black Mirror. I saw USS Callister. That was the last
Oh
one.
yeah,
I
that
saw.
was the one that was basically Star Trek.
It was basically Star Trek gone bad. It was
Yes.
basically Star Trek meets Mirror Mirror.
And Captain Kirk, the Captain Kirk character, was definitely overstepping his
Oh my
bounds.
god!
With
Oh my god!
everybody.
You thought Kirk had no bounds in his younger days. This guy was just icky. He was just icky. Anyway, so yeah, we'll definitely take you through one of them before we call it a night.
Why
tonight.
don't we ask? I was interested. Have you consumed any media that you found interesting in a writerly way? Did you go and see any movies over
I'm
the
trying to think.
the holidays?
You know what? I enjoyed Haunting of Hill House on
Ooh.
Netflix.
I've heard really
Hey.
good things about Haunting of
Yeah.
Hill
I'm
House.
too scared. Is it scary? Is it like super scary?
It's-
Whoa! Hey, Miss.
Oh yeah, we're gonna watch.
Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Bird Box, yeah.
She's been on me to watch Bird Box for freaking days, and then Haunting of Hill House. I think I'm scared.
Personally, to me, I found Bird Box more like intense and creepy, and I like intense and creepy.
I would
don't
describe-
like super scary.
I would describe Haunting of Hill House as being more creepy.
Oh, I do love
and
creepy.
suspenseful.
Sabrina was pretty creepy in a great way.
Yeah.
I enjoyed,
There,
I enjoyed
there were
Sabrina.
one or two moments just of outright terror.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
One that just comes out of left field that you don't see coming, and you really should not have any popcorn on your lap.
Because you'll be leaping in the air.
Fair
Because you'll
enough.
be picking up popcorn for the next 2 months.
Is that like a long series or is it?
It was like 10 episodes, maybe not
Okay.
even that many.
And that's definitely a haunted house.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's about one very dysfunctional family and how they how this particular house affected them. And it's a bit like Stephen King's It,
Oh.
in that there's a lot of flashbacks to when these people were kids
Uh-huh.
and then them as adults.
I like that sort of thing. So maybe I give it a go and not holding on to any popcorn. And any
Well, at least
point.
not for that particular scene. No. Problem is, of course, you don't see it coming, so you don't know.
Right.
We are going to watch Bird Box.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
We may take our inebriation station and.
It's been recommended to me by a member of my family. so-
Yes. So you can hold both of our
Fine.
hands.
Okay. Great. Awesome.
He's in.
He's
Right.
in.
So, but apart from Haunting of Hill House, you haven't seen any of the other stuff. Like I remember mentioning to you about catching Into the Spider-Verse, which surprised me at how good it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to add that to the list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for comic book.
One
nerds?
thing has been sad this holiday. Mortal Engines has not gotten a lot of love, and they're calling it like one of the biggest bombs of
Oh no!
2018.
No! Holmes and Watson.
All right, Holmes and Watson probably
definitely
has it
done
beat.
worse,
Holmes
so-
and Watson has it definitely beat.
I think it at one point had 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now it's up to 7.
yeah.
Okay. Somebody liked it.
So at least
Somebody liked it.
The people who worked on
Mortal
it.
Engines,
That's
not
right,
as bad
they were-
as Holmes and Watson.
They were like, quick,
not a
go,
ringing
go,
endorsement.
go rank it up.
Yeah.
7 people. They found 7 people to rank it up.
There you go. They
So-
probably paid 7 people to rank it up.
So, you obviously like Mortal Engines.
I
What has the knock been against it?
I enjoyed Mortal Engines. I enjoyed it a lot. Visually stunning movie, really good. When they focused more on Hester,
The female character.
the lead female character, which is what the trailers are all based on, it was great. But about 10 minutes in the movie, I was like, oh, this is a YA novel.
Yeah, the pretty boy. There's a pretty boy.
Pretty boy, pretty girl, shorty girl.
What does the pretty boy do?
He
Not a lot.
He kind of works in a museum, and he's pretty when he works in the museum, and then he gets muddy because he's a
And
pretty
gets
guy.
flustered.
He gets quite
rescued.
He gets quite flustered. Yeah.
So it's basically, the 60s and 70s female character has now been turned into a pretty boy.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't. I mean,
He was okay. He was watchable.
nothing against the actor, but I don't think it was very well written for his point.
And-
But
and-
you know what? I hate to say, I've read many successful YAs where the male character, the pretty boy,
is
it's
just
not
that.
very well fleshed out.
Yeah.
You know,
It's almost like a weird. I don't want to say.
it's a flip.
It's a flip of the script. Instead of having vapid female characters like we did in the
Vapid pretty
70s, 80s, and
boys.
90s, now in the aughts and the 2010s,
And call me crazy, but I would like to have 2 characters
they got brains.
that got brains and an arc and,
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah.
That you
I
actually
mean-
care about?
Yes, that
Yeah.
would be nice. So
But Mortal Engines, part of what I think sold it for me, was the character of Hester.
Mm-hmm.
Hester was one. The actress playing Hester was absolutely wonderful.
it had a really good sort of villain that you liked.
Yeah,
You suddenly were
Yeah,
like, oh,
you
I see
empathized
from
with
his
him.
point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really good character, and it was cool. He was a very cool character as well. He was like an animated man, like a dead person who'd been
Yeah.
animated by
it was
technology.
and his ending of the arc was it made you hold your breath. It was really cool.
You could
it was
shed
really
a few
cool.
tears for him as well. so.
I did. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Mortal Engines. But I think
I think people were complaining. They're like, well, how likely is it to have, cities on wheels? And I'm like, that is the entire basic premise of the book. If
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
buy that straight away, then why are you reading this book?
And I'm
Right.
sorry, but if you're
watching this movie.
arguing about that, if you're arguing about the implausibility of a city on wheels, okay, then why are you going to see a movie about a guy who can talk to fish? Okay, I'm just saying, who's from Atlantis, which
Jason Momoa. That's,
okay,
that's
well, there
all
you
the
go.
reason that there is for that.
There is that. So yeah, a lot of good media out there. Good stuff all around. I think we got. Do we want to go ahead and open this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't.
Let's go and do that.
It's been sitting up there.
Yeah, I know. Hold on a minute.
Queue up.
I feel like they should.
Yeah, it's that time when you're asking.
Inside the ark
Not
are
this
treasures beyond your wildest aspirations.
Time for a Loot Crate Looky-Loo on the shared desk.
You want to see it open as well as I.
Did you cut it open?
Not yet, but if you wanted to talk about, you said you had something on your mind when I fired off the.
Oh, I've completely forgotten what that was on my
Jeez.
mind.
I hate apple cords.
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
This one's been sitting. This one's just been sitting.
it just
in my
unravels
desk,
itself.
and it just unraveled
Just
itself.
fraying on its own.
Yeah,
frick's
Sebastian is unimpressed with that look.
Not impressed.
That's
at
true.
all.
So we're down to one loot crate box in this house now. Serena had a gaming crate that she got for a while, but she's
It
not.
didn't have
she
enough
loves-
Minecraft or Overwatch stuff.
Yeah,
in it,
there's
so
a
she
couple of
ditched
games
it.
she likes, and after that she's like, you know. So we said, well, if you don't want it, let's not keep getting it.
Right.
And loot crate stuff we give away at various points as well because we like it's not our fandom.
It's not our fandom, but I'm sure there is
Somebody out there will love this.
All right, so this is
A box, and
It's a black box. For those of you listening at
It's
home.
a black box with loot crate on it.
Just want to see if I can get to the.
But you know,
the theme is laboratory.
laboratory.
The theme is laboratory. So let's go
Well,
ahead.
that seems interesting. I'm trying to think of people
and
I
that's-
like.
That
in
doesn't make for good video because I just literally covered up my face with the box. Okay, so
Fiendish experiments.
It's a black shirt.
yeah,
We have a very white,
yet
fluffy
another
cat.
black shirt. This shirt is a Loot Crate exclusive. I don't recognize the fandom though.
Show it towards Tim. Maybe Tim knows the fandom. Maybe I know.
Oh, it's Westworld.
Oh, it's Westworld. Let's see.
Westworld.
Oh, it is too. It's
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 the
what they
Westworld.
look like underneath.
Underneath. I can tell
Does
you
it glow
right
in the dark? I feel like it looks like it glows in the dark.
Let me see. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
But I can tell you this. This is definitely going into the crate because
Not
I was not a fan of
your
Westworld.
Fandom.
I was not a fan
Although
of Westworld.
we were a fan of Anthony Hopkins in
we were
Westworld.
yeah, duh.
Because, man, that guy can act
Yep.
and anything. We were watching him. He didn't even say anything, and you could see like 15 different...
15 different
emotions.
choices right there. But
You were
yeah,
like,
I'm just not a fan of Westworld. Not a fan.
No.
And people said, "Oh, you're gonna watch season 2?" I'm like, "Nope,
I did.
nope." Just meh.
See, there's going to be a season 3 of True Detective.
Yes, with
Oh
Marshala
my-
Ali.
And it's in the Ozarks.
You
so-
had me at Marshala Ali, to be honest with you.
And
Okay.
they've gone back to form. They're doing something in
One
the...
detective.
One detective, past and future, going backwards and forwards. So, when is that? Do you know when that's starting?
I want to say it's in March, but that's just probably my bad memory.
I am really starting to feel old now.
Oh no! What is it?
Los Pollos
Is that?
Hermandos. I do not recognize what this is. I do not recognize this
It's
fandom.
chickens, T.
Thanks.
I've been
It's
studying
chickens.
Spanish on Duolingo, so I know that much.
I do not recognize
The
that
chickens.
fandom. Yeah, they're chickens.
Someone in chat might know what that is.
Hang on. I'm gonna skip ahead to the reference book.
Yes.
So the theme is laboratory.
Here comes a fluffy
Best
cat.
Dressed World.
Hey, fluffy
Here we go. Chug like a chicken. This is from Breaking Bad.
Whoa.
Cat, I swear to God, I'm going to turn you into a slipper. Yeah.
You get a pair of slippers out of
Owner
Sebastian.
Gus Fring was secretly running a major drug operation with Los
Oh,
Pollos
I know,
Hermanos
that's right, the fried
as a
chicken.
front. We can see him in his early days in Better Call Saul, and it's actually Saul who refers him to Walter White during Breaking Bad's second season. So this is a Breaking Bad Better Call Saul reference. Not my fandom. Moving on. Not all. Look,
Just want to interject.
And
True
they should-
Detective, January 13th.
There we go.
It's
coming up. Now,
Hopefully,
this
we'll be
one
in
I
New Zealand.
recognize.
That
That's
would
a
be
familiar
This would be Spider-Man. This would be
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
We just saw
And-
him.
And let's see. This Spider-Man is
Which
let's
Spider-Man
see.
is it? It could be a number.
Oh, it's
of-
it's a couple of Spider-Men. It is it's actually Spider-Man, and then
Spooderman.
there are no. These are art cards.
Okay.
You got a Spider-Man, you got a Green Goblin, you've got a Carnage, and a Venom.
Okay.
That's in here. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. We have. Oh no, I recognize this one.
Oh gosh.
I recognize this one. This This chat now I don't feel so old anymore. This one I'm so keeping. This is Little Sister from BioShock.
Oh, yes.
Little Sister, everybody. Little Sister. I recognize Little Sister.
Is she dangerous? I suspect she's
she
dangerous.
is creepy as
I was
F.
going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
She looks
Creepy
dangerous.
as F. In BioShock, Andrew Ryan founded the underwater city of Rapture after World War II. It was discovered that a certain type of sea slug produced the substance called Adam, which allowed for genetic mutation and modification by essentially providing unstable stem cells. And this was a game from like late 90s.
Late 90s?
And BioShock. I was actually playing the remastered version of BioShock, and I'm gonna pick it up again for the stream. But whew, that was some freaky stuff.
Yeah.
BioShock, freaky stuff. The pin is
What is this?
the pin's just a generic beaker that's basically saying it's probably got some safety tips on it that we're all going to ignore.
We're all going to die.
And then there's is this and then if we want Loot Crate must be cozying up with HelloFresh because we have a $60 gift card for HelloFresh.
Okay.
No, they're trying to step in on Blue Apron. They've
if
heard
you-
about us.
so if you want to try out HelloFresh with my compliments, take it. Take it.
Thank you. I've never
Yeah,
heard of it before.
maybe not the best. I mean, all Loot Crates cannot be good.
No, that's the nature of the Loot Crate.
Yeah,
Is that some
yeah,
things you're going to like,
sometimes
some
the
things
loot-
you're not going to like. And that's why we have giveaways at all of our
That's
events
why we
where we
have
remember to take the
giveaways.
box.
But this,
But you're not doing it with this.
Little Sister staying,
Yeah.
creepy Little Sister staying. In fact, I'm going to put her on Pip's side of the Pip's side
Oh,
of
you
the desk.
put it on mine. I don't wanna look at it.
Yeah. Have a Little Sister giving you a stare down.
Should we go and watch the Bird Box then, since you're loving the creep so much?
Why are you freaking, what has got your pants in the steaming undies about?
Because it is the #1 show that has been streamed on Netflix now. It beat out. I can't remember.
care.
You'll like it. You'll like it.
You'll eat it and you'll like it.
That's right.
Sounds
I'm
like
going to
it.
give you a plate of boiled Brussels sprouts, and you will like it.
You wrap them in bacon and they actually work
That's
quite
true.
well.
Brussels
Yeah, they
sprouts and
actually do
bacon,
work quite
as cooked by Renee and
Yes.
Smoky Riders. Them's good eatins.
Them's good eatins, Granny. And normally these segments like the Loot Crate Looky Loo and Riders Off the Clock that usually happens when we're in the podcast itself. But since
Since we have a guest.
we had a guest and we went like an hour,
Yeah.
like close to an hour, and then after I edit it down, it's going to be still close to an hour.
You're like, oh, I don't know.
I just said, okay, I got
59
cut
minutes,
This off.
you might go to-
I got to cut this off. Do you want another snort? A little bit. I'll
And then
fix
we
the
watch
rest.
Bird Box.
You guys can watch Bird
Yeah,
Box.
I love the Viola look now. What? You have mastered it truly, T. Oh, you're going to crush it? Are you going to crush it?
No, I just can't use. I can't use the.
Well, stop it. You got to sort of pour it out.
Yeah, I gotta
pour one out for the homies. Sorry.
You're gonna go there, white girl.
It went down fighting.
Yeah, it did.
Oh,
It-
there's plenty left. Don't worry, there's plenty left.
Yeah, and we also have other flavors there. And actually, if you get really hungry, I have a bottle of cherries and moonshine upstairs.
I've had those, man. They
They will knock you on your butt. Yeah,
I've
like
had a few
I
of
think
those
about
cherries. 2
and you're done.
Yeah.
That's why we've still got.
She took some with her to the local collection of housewives around here, and the end result was not pretty. Them ladies were soused.
Yeah.
They
Because you're
were
like, oh,
soused.
cherries, nom nom. Now, why is the world spinning? Oh, they know how to pickle their fruit in Tennessee. That's for sure.
Heck yeah.
Actually, I'd preferred the peaches.
The peach, yeah, but they don't do those anymore.
They
right?
don't do those anymore. That kind of sucks.
Well,
That's really
maybe-
a shame because they were delicious.
Yeah, maybe they'll be back
So,
again.
Some even ended up in the hot tub, as I recall.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm going
Alex
to
was
pass. I'm going to pass the ball over to Tim, and I'm going to have Tim tell the story about when we discovered the latest creation from Sugarlands, and we thought, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we did this with it? So Tim, you know what we're talking about,
Oh
right?
yes, it was the cookies and cream flavored
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, they had that was a new flavor just last year, not the year before.
No, but they started these new things.
Yes, and this is
Sippin'
like
called
cream.
sippin'
yes,
creams.
Sippin' cream. It's not the moonshine per se. It's the sippin' cream. And we said, geez, wouldn't this be great in coffee?
So the next morning we get up and we said, okay, let's go on ahead and we jokingly
Hemingway
said,
it.
let's Hemingway our coffee, named after the great writer himself, Hemingway,
And probably
and
alcoholic.
and his love for alcohol.
Yes.
And we poured in this. No, it was dark chocolate. It was the dark chocolate sipping cream. We pour that in.
It's good.
And then we poured in the coffee, and we toasted ourselves. We took a sip, and our eyes bugged out because we couldn't taste it.
Yeah.
We knew it was there, and it was 40 proof. And we knew it was there, chat. We knew it was there, but holy Hannah in a handbasket. If we had tried to Hemingway our coffee
Every day.
every day and kept Hemingway our coffee throughout the day, not only would we have been hammered, there would have been zero right. I don't know how
we would have
Hemingway
written
did it.
250 words for the week.
And they'd
Maybe.
be incons.
I mean, I know Hemingway once said, "Write drunk, edit sober," but
Yeah.
damn. I mean, it'd be more like nap drunk, edits.
Yeah.
nap drunk, edit sober.
Well, to be fair, Hemingway, he got up to that level.
He was a man's man.
His
he was a
his
man's
liver
man.
was pickled, and
Yeah.
But things didn't end well for him. So
No,
that's
they
perhaps
didn't.
Not,
No,
I
they
mean-
didn't.
No, but he did win a Nobel. So.
Oh, it's 50-50 on
Nobel
that one.
Nobel Prize eating a bullet. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not really.
But he had a lot of
selling it
cats.
for me.
He had a lot of polydactyl
He-
cats.
If you're ever in Key West and get the opportunity to visit his house there, if you're a cat lover, you'll be in heaven.
Yeah, our
There's
daughter,
like
that's
80
her-
of them living
That's
there.
on. That's on her. That's on her.
Our daughter
her
is
bucket list.
Our daughter is planning her travels based on where she can find cats. So she knows in the Greek islands there's an island that's just cats. Japan, there's an island of cats.
Well, she would do worse than to visit the Hemingway
Yeah,
house.
the
in Key
Hemingway
West,
house, and I've heard Key
That
West
works.
is quite
That
nice.
works.
So maybe one day
So anything else?
on our
Anybody
way
wa-
to Goldeneye.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody else have anything they want to share about just writerly stuff? Anything at all? We can go ahead and we can wind down this stream. Mm-hmm. We've been at it for
Slide
over.
under the table.
Yeah, I'm
Like
feeling very
Hemingway.
relaxed. Yeah, I'm good. I mean, we've been at this for an hour and a half.
I'm good.
I'm good.
We've probably worn out the audience.
Yeah.
Do we have the audience left?
There's one loyal viewer still hanging on. I think it's Rev3 dude, but it's okay. I mean, we're right now. This is just the extra content. We're just riffing. We're just talking up the mics, and then after everything is said and done, I'm gonna set up everything in here again. While you take him into Bandersnatch, I'm going to go on ahead and if you put on Bird Box, I'm just going to bed. But I have to get the cameras set up and everything for tomorrow morning because I've got my stream tomorrow morning.
That's right. The last stream of the year for you.
You're right. It's the 31st, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's
shit.
the 31st.
Goodbye 2018, and we're rolling into
Wow.
19.
Okay. Well, then there you
Sing
have
it like you mean it, brother.
I'm working on it.
He's only got one note.
I think I'm going to shave tomorrow too. My
Go into 2019 like an actual adult.
like an actual adult.
Yeah, well, this furlough has let you just go bushy.
This furlough has not been kind.
You're going to end up like Grizzly Adams. Coming down from the mountains.
Well, last year,
I'm
Joy-
here
Ja-
to communicate.
January was so freaking cold that halfway through the month, I said, "Why am I not growing a beard
Yeah.
when I can?"
When
And
my face hurts.
so,
The wind hurts my face.
yeah, I mean, we had one minus 10 day too many,
Jeez.
and I just said, I had not grown a beard in like I don't know 15 years. Something.
I remember seeing the pictures of you, and I was just like, "Good gravy,
Did
man."
it make you? Did it actually save your face a little bit when you went out?
Yeah, well, yeah, and also. From the day I started growing that thing, we did not get another Sub-Zero day. So, in my opinion, everybody in Central New York owed me a drink.
Yeah. Are you going to try that again this year?
It depends on if we get that kind of snap again.
The first minus whatever you
when
get.
I first started growing it, I thought it'll be gone by tax day, and then April was so freaking miserable that it was sometime in May before I finally put it on. But,
Well, we shall know how upstate New York is doing weather-wise by seeing your
that's right.
pictures on
Fair enough.
Facebook
The
or Twitter.
Yeah, the only problem is that the beard reflects my age a little too well. And
T
just
knows all about that,
sporting
right?
I know all
the
about
Pete
that.
Seeger look, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if
yeah.
T takes his beard off, he looks like he's 12, and he looks like exactly like his nephew.
There is that.
which is disturbing.
But even he has a beard now, and we still look like we still look like twinsies. It's even worse too because there were a couple people who got the Christmas card from my brother.
And there was
and
him and his wife and his daughter, and then they were like, why is T in the photo?
Why is T in the photo? What's T doing in the
thought
photo?
you photobombed it?
I photobombed it through my nephew's DNA. Very weird. It's very weird, very incestuous.
You both got the good hair, though.
Yeah, but he got the good hair, he got the good looks, but he also got the Vish abs. I discovered he's got a six-pack.
You didn't have the Vish abs when you were at college?
I did not. God, I wish I did. I've never had Vish abs. Even in my high school, I didn't have the Vish abs.
Well, you never
I've
know.
had a
Shit happens.
six-pack, like 1.5 once maybe.
I've always had a kegger. Even in my best, I've always had a kegger. Anyway, all right, I think we're done here. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been a lot of fun.
It's been a great
Tim, thanks again for coming in for the shared desk.
Thank you.
We're gonna wrap up this stream, and I will be back. I personally will be back tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. bright and early.
We don't have to be back.
No, you two can
I
sleep in.
personally will watch the replay.
Yeah, that's.
It's basically mouse and keyboard Monday, where Old Man Morris basically struggles with his mouse and
And
keyboard.
shouts at keyboards. Old Man Morris shouts at
Actually,
keyboard.
I shout more at my controller than I do my keyboard.
Okay.
Old
Man Morris chills out with the keyboard.
Old Man Morris chills out with the mouse and keyboard, and for some reason he's more chill about it on PC than he is on PS4. But if you have any questions for us, you can always find us at tmorris.com, pjballantyne.com. And that's going to be something I also need to do in 2019. I need to blog more.
Yeah.
I've actually written like 4 blog posts, and I meant to post them in December. And they're just sitting there, and
Maybe
they're
you
not
can polish
evergreen.
them. They're not evergreen?
They're not evergreen, no.
That's too bad.
So that kind of sucks, but I mean, I'll figure out something to blog about, I'm sure. All right, everybody, let's wrap this up. Thank you all for joining us. And I'll see you all tomorrow morning.
All right. Good
Bye.
night, one and all.